Hi everybody, I'm here to film my first book haul. Um, we'll see how this works because I'm actually at the park by my work, um, and right now they're doing some work on the ground, so I don't know how good the sound is going to be. We'll see. Hopefully though, this will be the version of this book haul that will end up on the channel. So today I have 4 books I'm going to show you guys. Um, 2 of them are kind of related, 2 of them are completely unrelated, so we will start with the 2 that are kind of just like random selections. So the first book I have, this is called A World Without Whom, and it is by the woman who created the BuzzFeed Style Guide. She's actually their copy chief, so um, it talks a lot about like internet writing rules. So obviously this is a book for grammar nerds like me. If you're not into stuff like that, this will be probably super boring to read, but she does present it in a really cool way. So some of the stuff she talks about is like typical grammar, like how to use hyphens, punctuation, talking about salutational titles, and especially including like transgender salutations, how to refer to someone in the LGBT community, like a lot about like inclusiveness in writing. But then let me find a good example. They have like, I'm trying to find the one chapter, how social media changed the game. So number 1, they show old slang words that we need to bring back. So they have like flapdoodle, and it means foolish words, and it was used in 1878 the first time, and then it shows you like how to use it. Claptrap, Tommy Rot, fiddle faddle, monkey shine, so it's got like old slang words, but then it also incorporates new slang, so like the word adulting, what it means to be woke, talking, let me see, they even have like Doge speak, so like much excite, what else? Real words and language trends to embrace. So it really, what I like about it is if you're a blogger, if you even just like use Twitter a lot, anyone who's writing on the internet, basically, it's showing you style suggestions and notes that honestly like didn't exist before this, because writing on the internet, especially as widespread as it is a fairly new thing. So again, if you're a grammar nerd, A World Without Whom, I would recommend. This is pretty new, too. Our library got it in November, so it's less than a year old. So that's the first pick. Second book, this is actually a selection that was chosen for my library's young adult book club. So basically, over the summer, they created this book club for people who read YA that are not young adults. So basically anyone who's older than a teenager is part of this club, but it's all YA books. So this is the August selection. It is Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. I am sorry that the lighting is bad here. This is... Okay, there were cars, so I'll probably cut that. But yeah, the first book is Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth, and she is the author of the Divergent series. So I have read 2 out of 3 Divergent books. I really like them. I just never got around to reading the last book. Now that I'm reading this, I kind of want to go through and reread the entire Divergent series, because when I read the first 2, it was like right when the movies were coming out, so it's been a few years. But this book is set basically in like a different solar system, it seems like. And it's 2 kids from different families that kind of come together, and each of their families' factions are at war with each other. So definitely like, what do they call it? Like a space soap opera type of story. Really liking it so far. I have to read this by August 19th, I want to say, 21st. So it's the 3rd Tuesday of every week that we meet. So I just have to finish this by then. And I've only read this for like one sitting, and I got through just this little chunk here. It's really good so far, but I'm trying to savor it because I do have a while before the book club, and I want the story to be fresh in my mind when we get there. So really excited for that. Okay, so the last 2 books that I have are somewhat related because they both are for people who don't eat meat. As I have said in videos before, and you'll probably hear me talk about it a lot in my other videos because it's something that's like that I'm working on actively, is that I went back to a vegetarian diet for the first time in about 6 years. I made the decision about 2-3 weeks ago, so it's been just about a month that I've been meat-free, and my ultimate goal is to transition into as close to a whole foods plant-based diet as possible. Obviously, 100% of my meals being made that way would be ideal, but I'm also not going to be unrealistic about it and act like it's going to be super easy. So even though I would like to continue not eating meat and go even further into like cutting eggs, cutting dairy, any animal products at all, I don't want to like put an end date on anything, or I don't want to say like that I'm going to just give it all up and it's going to happen by this date, because I know how that shit works. But yeah, that's basically my goal, is to get as close to like a vegan plant-based diet as possible. So far we cut in the meat, and in this process, because last time I went vegetarian, I did do some reading and some research, but I also admittedly purposely shielded myself from the realities of why the meat industry sucks. Like, I didn't get into any of the environmental stuff really, and I like refused to watch any of the videos of factory farms. There's a train. Hold on, guys. Can you even see it? Kind of. Okay. Train's gone. Hopefully you guys can hear me again. So, yeah, the first time I went vegetarian, I did like as minimal research as possible in order to like stick with it. And honestly, the first time I did it, I literally was just telling people like, well, let me just see how long I can do this for. Like, my heart was in it, but not like it is this time. I've done research, I've watched videos, I've looked up like both sides of the argument. So I've even gone into articles and studies and listened to doctors and nutritionists and things who don't necessarily advocate for a plant-based diet. I've really tried to look at it from all angles. And I forced myself to watch some factory farm footage, which was traumatizing, to say the least. I actually filmed a video after I watched it, but I don't know if that will ever see the light of day because I was a hot mess. I may do more of like a structured, put together vlog explaining my journey as a vegetarian, then as a meat eater, and now getting back into it. But I'm rambling. So let me just show you guys the 2 books I got. If you're not a fan of quote unquote vegan propaganda, turn this video off now. I will not be mad. If you're not a fan of anything like this, or you don't have any interest in a plant-based diet, or you just don't want to think about the reality, whatever, I'm not going to be offended if you stop the video here. But I'm just letting you know the last 2 videos are definitely books that are helping me along this journey. So there's your disclaimer. The first book is a memoir. It's called Eating Animals, and it's by Jonathan Safran Foer, I think is how you say his name. He's the author of Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, as well as Everything is Illuminated. And I actually just found out in my research, I think I was like looking up book reviews for this, and I found out they're making a movie based on this book. Like, they're going to do a documentary of it. So now I'm really excited that I am reading this. I actually just finished this last night. I thought I was only like halfway done with the book, but the notes section is pretty sufficient. I mean, it's like probably a good 80 to 100 pages, so I got done a lot sooner than I thought. This book was excellent, though. Okay, we're going to edit that out. This book was excellent. What I loved most about it is the fact that he looks at it from all perspectives. So he's talking about it, even like the writer himself he admittedly like has been vegetarian, then gone back to eating meat, then been vegetarian, then gone back. So he's me basically. And he talks about like the role foods play culturally and socially, and like how like he uses the example of one of his grandmother's chicken dishes, and like how family to him in a way like means that dish, or that dish means family rather. And so as he's about to become a dad, he starts to kind of reevaluate like the role of food and the role of animals and the moral aspect of it. And so in his process, he goes and like sneaks into factory farms with animal activists, but then he also visits like as close to like traditional farming as he can. So he goes to like one of the last, if not the last, poultry farmer that actually does things humanely and doesn't put antibiotics in his animals unless it's necessary. Like he basically looks at farming done properly, or like animal agriculture done properly, and then contrasts it to like the examples we see in here when we're talking about how shitty factory farming is. So yeah, it definitely looks at things from multiple perspectives. So really, really recommend this book. I would actually recommend this book even to people who eat meat, but I do know that there's topics that it touches that would probably be really sensitive, especially if you do continue to eat meat. Like this is a book where I really want like Matt to read it and like people in my family to read it, but I don't ever want to be that pushy person. But yeah, this book, amazing. I definitely want to go buy a copy of this just to have it. Okay, so last and final book is a cookbook, Betty Goes Vegan. And what I love about this, first of all, there's 500 recipes in it. So, I mean, it's massive. And they have everything. So it's divided by category. So they have breakfast and brunch, lunch, dinner entrees, baked treats, appetizers, and then holidays. And then even within those categories, like lunch, they have soups, sandwiches, salads, dressings, and then like pasta salads and things like that. So, I mean, your bases are covered here. But the gist of this, it's not an official Betty Crocker cookbook, but the writers of this book, Annie and Dan Shannon, they're a married couple, they basically took the official Betty Crocker cookbook and turned it vegan. So they just veganized all the recipes in it, which is such a good idea. And what's really incredible about this book is that it's all comfort food. When people think of vegans or even vegetarians, they think of nothing but eating salads all day, every day. And that's so weird to me because especially in 2018, like I feel like it should be fairly obvious that people who don't eat meat do have more options than they ever have in terms of like mock meats or restaurants offering things that are vegan or vegetarian. I know me, even just from the last, when I decided to go vegetarian the first time was in 2007. And then I was vegetarian for just under 5 years. Even then, there were not as many options as I see now in stores. And even in my time as a meat eater, I have like oftentimes chosen a meatless option just because it's there, and I like that stuff. But yeah, a cookbook like this is super awesome because it just proves that like you don't just have to eat carrots to live as a vegan. And if you do that, you'll probably get really sick. But what I've been doing, so obviously this is a book that I would want to own eventually, but I kind of picked like my top 40 to 50 recipes, and I've been transcribing them into my laptop. I made like a Scrivener project, so I can have them for now. And so if you look, all I have left, you can see my little bookmarks. I just have to go through and pick, this is all desserts. So this is like 15 dessert recipes that I've chosen. Because clearly my big old butt likes dessert. So yeah, you can see my bookmarks in here. This is just the dessert section. This is all I have left. So hopefully I'll transcribe these at work today and then I can return this. But yeah, Betty Goes Vegan. That's my last selection. So as you can see, that's my 4-book library haul. This is the first of hopefully many on this channel. I really hope you guys liked it. These are hopefully you liked the format of this, because I would really like to do more videos like this, even if it's not just books. Like, for example, a lot of the time Matt and I will pick up DVDs and Blu-rays or audiobooks, things like that from the library. So if I can incorporate all that stuff. There's also some used bookstores that we go to, so if I ever buy a chunk of books, I'll come on and do a haul with, you know, like a book haul for things that I'm keeping. Thrifting, if I go to a thrift store and find some stuff, I'll probably pop on here and do a haul. So let me know if you guys like this format. Also, if you have any good book suggestions, make sure you leave me a comment below. Our library has a really good system where you can request out at other libraries. So chances are, if my library does not have a book, I can easily get it. So definitely, if it's like health, fitness, vegetarianism, veganism, definitely leave me links for that, because when I get into something, my husband can tell you this, I get like obsessed. So even if it's like documentaries, I can probably get those through my library too. And obviously I have Netflix and Hulu and all that good stuff. So leave me suggestions. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and don't forget to subscribe if you are liking this content. Hopefully the day that this video will be up, I'll also be posting my first vlog. So check the link in the description. I'll go ahead and just link any videos I already have up by this point. That way you guys can see what else I have going on this channel. I'll link my social medias, all that good stuff. But I think that's all I got for you guys. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye!